Well, this in front of me is a pressure cooker. Well, some of you of course know this, but I know for a fact that some of you are also scared of using this in the kitchen. Well, today I'm going to explain to you how to use a cooker, ताकि cooker की सीटी आपकी सीटी ना बजा दे. Well, the recipe that I'm going to show you today is Rajma Khichdi using a pressure cooker. Hey guys, it's me the Bombay chef Varun Inamdar and welcome to Rajshri Food. Let's begin. But before starting the recipe, let me explain to you what this pressure cooker is all about. I know it looks very intimidating, but it's possibly one of the most used appliances across the world. It comes in various sizes, it comes in various shapes. You get it like a pot, you get it like a pan, you get it like a vessel, different shapes like I said. Well, this one is a cylindrical vessel shape. You also get a pot-like, which is known as a matka cooker, which actually looks like a pot. You also get a shallower vessel, which is called the pressure pan. Now, you get this in varying sizes. It starts all the way from 1.5 liters and goes right up to 9.5 in a domestic kitchen. And otherwise, it also goes up to 25 to 100 liters depending on if it's an industrial kitchen. Now, this appliance primarily has two parts. The first one is the lid and the second one is the base vessel. Now, if you come a little closer and see the different parts, this one is the lid handle. This one is the body handle. The one right at the back is the helper handle. Now, absolute logic. When you pick it like that, you can't just pick it like this. You have to give it a little bit of helping hand. So this one becomes your helping handle. Makes it clear? Now, if you open the lid has almost 3-4 parts, apart from the handle of course. This is primarily the lid. Then you have these two valves here. Now these are regulatory valves. The first one is the locking valve. The second one is the overpressure valve. Now if you see, whenever you cook, there's some amount of water or liquid that actually emits from here. That is if the pressure has overridden. That's the case when this actually starts jumping. This one that we call the whistle is actually the pressure regulator internationally, and this one is the vent pipe. So this is where the steam vents out from, and then you put the pressure regulator, and that's what we call the whistle. Right at the back, you have this ring, which is actually the sealing ring. When I say sealing, it actually seals in or locks in the pressure. This is very important. Now, if you see the back side of the lid, it's designed very peculiarly. Some places it is bent inwards and some places it is actually standing. Now, this is very important in creating a locking mechanism. It literally gets locked. At any given point in time, if at all the lid by any chance falls on the floor or gets a dent, this needs to go out of your home because this will not get repaired. There will be no serviceman who will ever be able to repair this. If someone tells you that, don't get it done. Just replace the pressure cooker. This ring is made of rubber. The shelf life generally is 3 months, but again primarily depends on how you use this. If you clean it well, because there are these little contours which could get dirty, if those are left like that, then chances are that this may deteriorate faster. Another thing that you may notice here, and you must remember all these things because this is very important, especially while using a pressure cooker, it should not have dents anywhere. So whenever you get a new appliance, always ensure that you check it from the outside, you check the handle. This all comes separate. This all needs to be actually plugged in using a screwdriver. So all these parts have to actually be attached, and that's where you get this entire appliance which is done and ready. So now that you kind of understand how the pressure cooker works, let's actually put it to use. Let's keep the lid aside, and if you talk about the bottom has to be tougher, it has to be thicker so that it can take the kind of pressure that the pressure cooker is built for. First things first, let's heat this on medium flame, and to this let's add in ghee, because what are we making? Rajma Khichdi. So let's begin. A generous dollop of Desi ghee. While the ghee is getting heated, let's quickly slice few onions. Onions are sliced and ready, and the ghee has also heated up. Let's add in some whole spices, beginning with bay leaves, along with cinnamon, cardamom, cloves, and black peppercorn. To this, I'm also adding in the sliced onions. Let's stir this well and allow this to turn golden brown in color. It's also important to note that if you're using root vegetables and you're building it up gradually, suppose you have potatoes, carrots, pumpkin and spinach, randomly conversation's sake, you always begin with the toughest root vegetable, in this case carrots, then potatoes, and then gradually go softer, and then right towards the end add in the leafy vegetables. So that's how you actually build a pot of assorted vegetables. Now in case you're doing only potatoes, then do only potatoes. What is important here to note is how much water to add. It's always important to only fill the cooker till it's 2/3. Now if you understand math, it's 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3. So 2 parts right at the bottom, which is 1/3 plus 1/3, makes it 2/3. So the cooker at any given point in time should be only 2/3 filled, so that there is enough room for the pressure to build. And that's where you start cooking under pressure. Now these are these little things that are very important to note. Coming back to the onions. To hasten this process of caramelizing, like I always do, let's add in some salt. Once the onions have turned golden brown, the next step is to add in paste of ginger, garlic and green chilli. Along with this, I'm also going to add in some dry spices, beginning with red chilli powder. Again, depending on how spicy you personally prefer this to be. Coriander seeds powder, cumin seed powder, along with turmeric powder. Let's give this a quick stir. And while the spices are also now getting cooked, let's quickly slice some tomatoes. I'm slicing them nice and thick so that these don't kind of disintegrate while getting pressure cooked. They will still remain nice and chunky even after getting cooked. Let's add all of this straight in. And along with this, rice which is soaking for the last 20 minutes. Well, for this khichdi, personally and specifically, I like using short grain rice and not a long grain variety or basmati, because I personally feel this tastes wonderful like that. Time to add in the star ingredient, and that is rajma. Well, rajma is known as kidney beans, and you get it of different varieties across the landscape of India. Different sizes, similar shapes, but different colors, primarily very, very important. And it ranges from the smallest of rajma to the largest of rajma that you've ever seen. Now this is pressure cooked with just a little bit of salt. Legends say that you never add in salt in rajma, but I personally, through my experience, say that a little bit of salt in rajma really works well. You pressure cook this in 4 times of water and then you add it here. Now rajma, again, depending on the size, may take hours to cook or minutes to cook. Now this is a personal call. If you think this is really stretching it too far in terms of your time, just use canned beans, simple. Let's add this in with the water in which the rajma has been cooked. Oh, by the way, this one is Kashmiri rajma that I picked up from one of my travels across Kashmir. Let's stir this well. Now this recipe is going to require some more water, because now if you notice, I've added rajma, I've added rice, and I've added the rajma stock. The rajma stock is according to the measurements of the rajma in this recipe, but we still need some more water for the rice. So for 1 cup of rice, 2 cups of stock or water. Some more salt as per taste. Remember, you've added salt before while cooking the rajma as well as while cooking the onions. Finally, I'm going to add in half the quantity of coriander leaves, because I personally feel rajma and coriander pairs very well. One last final stir, and time to put in the lid for cooking. Press this and lock it back. Now this needs to cook for 3 vessels, or if you're the ones who likes to cook it on low flame, then just keep it for 20 to 25 minutes and your khichdi will be perfect. Once this is cooked and ready, or once the 3 whistles subside, you will only open it after that. The whistle has to subside. Very important, so that the pressure just comes back to normal, and that's when you release it. Now, all through the lockdown, there were so many recipes that were floating around. There were cakes that were cooked in pressure cooker. Well, I remember for a fact when I was studying, when I was staying in a hostel, we used to cook a lot of recipes using a pressure cooker. And I also know for a fact that a lot of students that traveled internationally, Indian mothers really source for these little compact pressure cookers all through the market and ensure that they put it in a handbag. Anyway, all that aside, now this is going to take 3 whistles under pressure, medium flame. With this, off goes the flame, and this needs to subside, which will take at least 15 to 20 minutes. It's important to wait till then. When you lift the pressure regulator or the whistle, as we all know, there has to be no pressure, and that's what I mean by pressure has subsided when. Let's lift this very carefully, opening it against your face, not this way, otherwise all the steam will scald you. The next is to give it one mix to ensure that all the flavors wonderfully mix together. Now this straight goes on the dinner table. And finally, some more coriander. Because remember what I said? Coriander and Rajma, match made in heaven. If you want more such how to use kitchen equipment videos, do let us know in the comment section below. Anyway, make this Rajma Khichdi for your family, and now there's no need to be scared of this cooker. Bye for now.